Water was found on Mars. Sort of. Mars was not always the hard, lifeless world that we know it to be. It was once a very different place. At least all the available scientific evidence seems to support that conclusion. The NASA Curiosity rover recently drove past striking signs of an ancient, wet environment, despite the fact that the red planet is currently completely dry. So, in today's video, we'll tell you about the most fascinating discoveries made by the Curiosity rover so far. Rovers on Mars have discovered a variety of intriguing rock formations throughout the years, including high cliffs, pavement stones, and boulders covered with spherical nodules and mineral veins, to mention a few. And some of the most interesting structures have also been the most fragile, oftenly incredibly thin or spindly, appearing to break with the least touch. In the thin Martian atmosphere, they are formed by wind and sand erosion. The Curiosity rover has uncovered another interesting and fragile Mars rock structure. The car-sized robot photographed a strange rock that appears to be made of layered layers. According to the space agency, such a rock originated in an ancient stream bed or small pond. Okay, before we go into the discoveries, let's tell you a little bit about Curiosity. One feature that distinguishes Curiosity is its size. It is roughly the same size of a compact SUV. It is 9 feet 10 inches long by 9 feet 1 inch wide, 3 meters by 2.8 meters, and stands around 7 feet tall, 2.1 meters. It weighs 2,000 pounds, 900 kilograms. The wheels of Curiosity are 20 inches, 50.8 centimeters in diameter. The rover was designed to clear obstacles up to 25 inches, 65 centimeters tall, and travel around 660 feet, 200 meters every day. The rover is powered by a multi-mission radioisotope thermoelectric generator, which generates energy from the heat of radioactive decay of plutonium-238. It was created with 4 key objectives in mind, and the objectives are intertwined in some way. The first would be to determine if life ever existed on Mars and define its environment. The second would be to describe Mars' geology, and lastly, to prepare for human exploration. So, we mentioned that all of the aims are linked because understanding the current environment on Mars can help us evaluate if we can safely explore the red planet one day. It is equipped with cameras capable of documenting the terrain or minerals in close proximity, radiation detectors to determine how strong radiation showers the surface are, environmental devices to monitor the present weather, and much, much more. The primary goal of Curiosity, as mentioned earlier in the video, is to ascertain whether or not Mars is habitable, and that's exactly what it did. The rover first touched down on the red planet in November 2011. To say that it was a historical moment would be an overwhelming understatement. A few years later, NASA's Perseverance rover touched down at another location on the planet. Over the years, Curiosity has learned a lot of interesting things about the red planet since it landed, and several of these have strengthened the notion that water once flowed on Mars. It discovered something rather fascinating while investigating the Gale crater. When Curiosity was climbing Mount Sharp, a 3-mile-high mountain in the Gale crater, sometime this year, it came upon flaky, lakebed rocks. It took pictures of the boulders, which, according to NASA, might have originated in an old stream bed or tiny body of water on the surface of Mars. Basically, it is the location where these ponds and streams formerly spread red silt throughout the landscape. Ultimately, a few of these sediments were stacked, and there is a clear indication that Mars didn't simply have ponds at lower elevations. It was warm and wet enough to support large lakes. Cool, huh? However, Curiosity has been discovering signs of water on Mars for years, so this wasn't the first confirmation of water. But what makes these new discoveries unique and more fascinating is that they allow us to create an approximate time frame of how Mars came to be the way it is now. In essence, very dry. And as the rover moved closer to the mountain's summit, NASA noticed several changes in the terrain it was traveling over. According to Ashwin Vasavada, a project scientist for Curiosity at NASA JPL, most of the lake deposits that were formerly visible on the lower Mount Sharp are no longer there. Instead, there is an abundance of data that points to a drier climate. He continued, saying that what we are seeing now is more comparable to barren dunes with streams of water running around them. It's a significant departure from the lakes of water on Mars that scientists think existed millions of years ago. To get a closer look at the mineral makeup, NASA intends to dig into the nearby rock. The space agency is unsure of what it will specifically discover when it does so. However, we are aware that the information is mounting. Mars may have previously been a lush utopia, but something caused it to go, and we want to know why. Basically, some horrible world-ending event occurred and the region became a dry, sandy wasteland, similar to Mad Max Fury Road. NASA has dubbed it the blackthorn salt, and it is classified as a digenetic feature. As we said before in the video, they are widespread on Mars and were created when old water flowed through openings in the Martian rock. They resemble dry wood or branches, or practically frozen streams of water poured from an imaginary sky jug. In actuality, geologists believe that columns were made from cement-like material that formerly filled old bedrock fractures. The twisting streams of dense material stayed standing when the softer rock eroded away. The remaining spikes are made of a tougher substance. These were simply steeper in the rock layers to begin with. They stayed that way because the extremely thin atmosphere couldn't knock them over. We doubt they would have survived this long if they had been on Earth, which has a denser atmosphere. However, what makes this even more fascinating is that similar formations can be seen on Earth, although thicker and bigger. But it is just as fascinating as it is terrifying. If there was water on Mars, what caused it to abruptly dry up? Does that imply that it may happen here as well? Just something to think of before going to bed at night. Additionally, because of this enormous size, the ones on Earth have essentially endured for millions of years. A nice illustration is a hoodoo. They are tall, slender rock spires that are usually found in dry areas. So if you want to feel like you are on Mars, you know where to go. However, the primary distinction is that the ones found here are as tall as a 10-story building. However, they develop when softer sedimentary rock is worn away, leaving the spike-shaped core of harder rock standing, precisely like the spikes on Mars. However, as we continue to investigate the Martian surface, we will be able to learn more about what happened. Another fascinating discovery made by the Curiosity rover was a door-like structure, which sparked outrage on social media in May of this year. The doorway doppelganger is so uncannily believable that we are nearly inclined to start thinking that it leads to a little hiding place for Martians. Or could it be Martian cave people? Or maybe even a portal to a completely different universe. Additionally, this has a tunnel to the center of the universe's feelings. But the image and the geological characteristics it captures appear to be sufficient to serve as the basis for one of two science fiction films. However, the realistic member of the group made the decision to put an end to the fun by suggesting that it may simply be a shear fracture, which is essentially the effect of some pressure on the rock breaking as a result of earthquakes. But what if they want you to believe that? We're simply joking. We also believe there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for the mystery doorway, but we're having a great time guessing in the meantime. What do you think of the structures that have been found on Mars? Additionally, share your craziest theories about the mysterious alien doorway in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts on that and anything else you have in the comment section below.